But anyway, guys, it was so rude of us to leave off the other episode like that. But we just wanted to leave you wanting more.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. We just wanted to tease you guys because a lot of the like deep conversation is gonna happen in this
And the
episode.
studio got locked off.
Don't say that.
Sorry.
Make it seem like we did on purpose, yeah.
Exactly.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Hi guys. Wave. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Things You Can't Touch. This is episode, I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's another episode. Anyway, yeah, this is part 2 of the Women's History Month special, because it's important to talk about women, and why not do it twice?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Period.
On that note, Elizabeth, you're gonna introduce yourself again.
Oh, I don't want to.
And this time we're gonna introduce yourself nicely to the people. Thank you.
Hi guys.
Okay.
Sorry. Hi guys. I am Elizabeth again, also known as Kemi Dayo again.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Can you tell them what your Instagram handles are? Please?
Not really. It will appear on the top of my head like
You're
it did
so
last time.
audacious. Like, you're just so audacious. Everybody else introduces themselves and you think you're special.
Okay.
The Instagram handle.
I'm a Nigerian babe.
Okay. So let's just get into the conversation. Elizabeth, do you remember the question that we were answering?
Yeah, what is womanhood?
And we got cut off, but there's another segment.
Right.
We were looking at the definitions of womanhood, and that led us to a talk about intersectionality.
Yes.
And on that note, I think it's important as Black women to talk about Black womanhood.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I want to discuss is whether or not you think that Black women are dewomanized.
Yeah, ate that.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
Thank you so much.
That's a good one.
Wow.
That's a good one. Because I was going to say, yeah, Black women are dehumanized. But I think Black people are dehumanized.
Mm-hmm.
I think Black women are dewomanized just because, do you know why?
No.
I think there's a lot of like, what's that thing? There's a lot of
Stigma?
Not stigma.
Okay.
There's a lot of like connotations to womanhood.
Yeah.
A lot of words that you'd associate with womanhood.
Yeah.
Like, not stereotypes, but like as in constructs that you'd associate. I'm not saying they're inherent or natural characteristics because we already debunked that. But it's like for example, like the idea that women are like soft, gentle,
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time, when Black women are thought about, I don't know why I'm stuttering. Those are not the things that are associated with Black women.
The concept of being soft and gentle.
And it's like, there's so much you can say about that. So much you can say. Because like, I'm gonna keep some topics to myself.
You can bring them up and I'll see if I want.
I'm gonna just like, I'm gonna end up just talking about so many things.
That's the point. Talk about what you want to talk about.
Where do I go? Because I'm trying to think of like how we can see that in real life and how we see Black women being dewomanized in real life. Okay, actually, I'm gonna do like what you would do in an essay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a modern day example, contemporary example.
Because I have an example. I think you might be okay, go on.
You can give your example though after.
Yeah.
But like recently, you know how unfortunately a young Black woman was found in the river.
Yeah.
And it's like that the sentiment around it was that like the police had no sense of urgency, and it's not the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're looking for young children who go missing, or I don't even know what happens to them, it's like if that child was white, there's a sense of urgency because like, especially if they were a white woman or a white girl, there's a sense of urgency because like she's innocent, she's young, she's exactly, she's a damsel in distress.
Describe a Black woman as a damsel in distress. Like, no one sees us as damsels.
I'm a damsel.
They see us as, I was gonna say demon because I wanted it to be alliteration, but that didn't. Like we're not sweet to the taste. We're not sweet.
I'm sweet to the taste in Jesus' name.
Yeah, like we are, and we know that because we are, and we know that because we are Black women. Yeah. But the way that we are perceived is like brash.
Exactly.
Aggressive.
And so we're dewomanized because I think there's, as much as women face so much struggle in society, there is not there's an element of womanhood in terms of like gender constructs that means that like you're seen as like there's a binary of like being protected and being a protector, and men are like the protectors, women are the protected, but not black women.
Okay.
So we're de-womanized in that sense because women ought to be protected but not black women. So it's like
that leads me to my next point. Are we de-womanized because we are victims of hypermasculinity, or do you think
like what comes first?
Yeah, type B.
I think we're de-womanized before we become. Oh, actually.
Wow.
Actually.
By the way, when we're saying de-womanized in this context is de-womanized by in relevance to the concept of what modern day woman is like. I feel like I didn't word that well, but I think you get my gist.
I think we're hyper-masculinized.
Wow.
First.
Do you think? Okay, go on.
Because I think we're hyper-masculinized first.
Yeah.
Because I think like, the same way it's like black people were never perceived as human beings to start with.
Yeah.
It's like you never considered me
to be a woman
to start with. I was just a very masculine thing to you from the get-go. So it's like I was hyper-masculinized first.
Yeah.
And then it's like my womanhood wasn't even
considered.
A part of
it wasn't
the
a part of the conversation. It wasn't.
But I think as the conversation has evolved, it's like
now you're a woman.
That you're being de-womanized. Like
but
your womanhood.
we have to be considered a woman first before that is being detracted and subtracted from our identity.
Inherently, is that
inherently
politically correct to say? Inherently, I am a woman.
Okay.
Like I identify as a woman.
You identify as a woman. Okay.
I am a woman, but you not considering me to be one doesn't negate that I am one.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that's the issue because of the social structure. People can have their opinions and declare what we are and what we're not.
Exactly.
And then that creates all the problems that we have with the systems that we're in. Yeah.
So that's how we become hyper-masculinized.
Okay.
And then what you were saying about how to be de-womanized, you need to be a woman in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm inherently a woman.
Yeah.
That's why the concept of being de-womanized makes like that's why it's relevant.
Yeah.
Even though you are hyper-masculinizing me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's just a lot. It's
a lot of words.
Yeah.
Full in the mouth.
But I think we understand the concept of what we're trying to say in general. But because like simply based on the stereotypes, we can see that black women are de-womanized because the concepts that are usually associated with like white women are just the concepts associated with white women are what creates the stereotype of what a woman is supposed to be, and we are constantly painted outside of that picture. Which is the reason why we are de-womanized. Which is off of the back of the hypermasculinity that comes into play. Okay, I just had to bring it all together. We've already spoken about dehumanization, but I just want to touch on another point. When the people in the West came and found most black people in Africa, we were considered savages and animals.
Yes, we were.
And I think that is where a lot of the dehumanization comes from in the first place. And that's what leads to the hypermasculization. The reason why is because dehumanization already makes you an animal, and the type of not gender but the type of sex and role that is associated with animalistic behavior, what's the word, primal behavior is men. To begin with, I'm not sitting here calling men animals, even though you can take that and do what you will. But what I'm saying is that the link from black people, animals, is very easy to call all black people very, very masculine as a result. And I think it becomes worse when when social media comes into play. And we see all the concepts of like, even in Disney, you see what a woman is, and then when there are villains, the villains are darker skinned and things of that nature. And it's just like, anything with dark skin is already is already an animal. So even if they are, and that's what's so interesting, in order to be considered as a feminine, or not even feminine, as a woman, as a black woman, you have to be hyper feminine. And it's like the two contrasts are so interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like when people take in like black women and consider them as women, it's like, oh, because like she's just so cute,
she's so,
or
so
like she's so pretty,
and she's so soft spoken, and exactly, she's so pretty.
And I think the concept of, like, I know you're going with it, but like my brain was fast. Like, I think the concept of a lot of things come into play in this conversation, in the sense that, you know, the beauty standards of a black woman is just different. With white women, everyone is beautiful. To society, to society. But for black women, you have to be one, I don't want to use the word, but exotic, differentiating character that looks so different. And it's because, and that's why average, in quotation mark, black women
feel so meaty.
Yeah, and they are considered to not be as beautiful, even though this is the average beauty. Like, this is us. We're beautiful.
Like, if I was white, you would think.
Yeah, you would think like I'm like best, like, what do you call it? The cream of the
crop and all that.
Yeah. But because we're black, it's just different, and that just comes down to skin color. And if you have something to say about that, just keep it yourself. No worries. Oh yeah, another one of my notes was that we do it to ourselves. We hypermasculinize, we hypermasculate, whichever one it is, ourselves. Do you think that's true?
Give me an example.
You know, like the angry black girl stereotype.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other black women project and reinforce it as well.
Okay.
I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain how, but I just
I agree with you. I think some black women are equally, like, I don't want to say guilty, but they equally project that stereotype.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't want to remove accountability from the black women who do that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you do it. Yeah. So I don't want to say, oh yeah, but we're not the ones who started it. Because there is a conversation in that, even like in terms of the quantity of people who project that stereotype, I would like to believe that black women are not the most guilty, which is not what you asked. You didn't ask who's the most guilty.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like part of that one is because some people want to appeal to the male gaze or the Western gaze, the European gaze, whichever gaze you want to even call it. Like, so it's like there's a pressure to conform, and it's like, I don't want to be this thing that they keep saying that we are. So when someone else does it, I'm going to point it out and be like, stop being the angry black woman. Kind of thing. Or you're being the angry black woman. Obviously, that's not how people say it, but like the sentiment. And
sometimes I think it's just a product of you're trying to help, but by trying to help, you're not helping.
It's true.
In that,
I think some people are trying to help, not everyone though.
No, not everyone. No, come on.
Yeah, some people
I know. I've been there. Some people, you're actually just the issue. Yeah. But yeah, some people think that they're helping by saying, that don't do that, because they're gonna say, but I can act how I want to act, and people want to say that I'm an angry black woman, but I'm reacting how any normal human being would react in this situation.
And I think there's even it's obviously like within reason, but everything within reason.
Yeah.
Like, as a white person, within reason as well. So when it's black people, it's like we should feel like we're allowed to be angry without being villainized. We should feel like we're allowed to be.
It's just so
like,
interesting.
but otherwise, you're dehumanizing us, but in the other direction now. You're not telling us that, not necessarily by saying that we're grand, but by saying we're not allowed to be.
Like we're being, now we're too human.
Or we're not allowed to be
too
upset.
Emotional.
So it's like, now I have to be so robotic and whatever, because I don't want to be.
You're constrained on both
stereotypes.
sides.
It's crazy.
Can I just say something? And what I just thought of in my mind was like, where's the idea of an angry white woman? And in my head, okay, I feel like yeah, but
so I feel like
you can say no. You know this concept of Karens? Karens are now like a funny, comedic, thing, but no one has ever considered them to be angry. They're just
that's true.
They're just really
hysterical, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they're hysterical. Maybe they're really what's the word? Not demanding, but they put their foot down. They're really, I don't know the English, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's like, anyhow, the Karen that is behaving how they are right now is being like an go and get your manager. Oh, let them be black. Oh no, angry black girl, angry black woman. She's not justified, because a lot of the time people take the time to listen to what the Karen is saying, and it's like, in this situation, is the Karen right or wrong? Question mark. let's listen to what the Karen is saying and see is the Karen called the manager because this, that, and the third. They didn't need to. They shouldn't have whatever. And it's like, if it was a black woman, you're not even gonna listen to what they have to say. And a lot of the time, this, like, in the workplace, in medical, in healthcare, it's like we are always like considered to just be wrong because we're just angry.
And we're just excessive.
And that it happens so much. Like when black women go into the hospital and say, like, for example, like the stories that I've heard, like, was it you that said about how the woman went to the hospital and she was saying that she's pregnant? She ended up having a miscarriage because no one believed that she's pregnant. What? Because, like, and what's the word that is called? Testimonial injustice. Look it up. You know, the same woman that spoke about having to call injustice. Testimonial injustice refers to the idea that, like, you don't, somebody's testimony, what somebody says is not believed because of their identity and because of the social structures that they fall into. And that to me is just so interesting. We've definitely gone on a tangent.
But you're right.
But that's just
and even everything that you were saying before, how, like, when you're talking about, like, the healthcare. And it's like, we don't even need to get into it. We know about how many, like, well, we might not know the statistics, but we know that, like, black women are out here losing their lives. Because no they don't believe in our pain, quite literally and metaphorically. And it's like, what is that about? Like, a black woman, like, what? I told you it's paining me, sir.
And you just said, yeah, no, it's not.
Like, not really. And obviously I understand that all women deal with that. Like, you can go to your GP and say something is off, something is wrong there, and it's like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, you're just a girl. Like,
but it's just disproportionate.
Drink paracetamol, but it's disproportionate, and
no one should say
it's unfair. And it's like, why? What? Because I'm not human enough to you. Like, I have this mega stupid, like, extraordinary capacity to endure pain. Why? Because I'm black. Does it make sense? No. What? This is like, what makes you think that? And the fact that, like, these were things that were believed, like, in a scientific sense, like, genuinely, that black people can endure more pain. You are joking.
It was in the books. That's what people went to university.
Like, educated people who read school.
Wow. Educated people who read school.
That's what they taught you. That's so crazy to me.
That was a really interesting conversation. I'm not sure if that counted as a tangent, but I like where it went.
I think that's the essence of a podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm so structured in the way that I think, it's my bad. But all those references, I do want to ask, is our concept of womanhood really westernized? You can take that how you will, but I do have an approach that I want to take. So
please do.
You want me to?
You want me to answer first?
Yeah,
I think it is. And when I say our, I mean our. In this, like, sphere that we are in the West. But we're not Western women, if that makes sense.
Like, we're not born of the West. We're not women of the West.
We're not women of the West. That was a good one.
Thank you.
So our concept, or the concept of womanhood that gets projected onto us, is a very Western one. Obviously, I was brought up here, so I can't say how it goes down in, like, Nigeria, for example, and what their concept of womanhood is shaped by. But at the same time, social media, like globalization, it means that there's almost a universal concept of womanhood, almost, that is shaped primarily by the West. And that whole, like, and I just, like, I'm so bored. First, we were all supposed to be skinny. Now we're all supposed to look unrealistically thick.
Like, the beauty standards are gonna change. And
do you know, on that,
really
quickly,
I'm so excited.
Like, you know that, like, whole idea, like, I think it was even AD that was saying it on Love Is Blind. Or maybe it wasn't, and I just made that up. But it was like that. I like her too. But it was like, as a black woman, like, you go gym, you work for your body.
I think it was her.
And then they're telling you, oh no, it's just genetic. Like, your hard work is getting taken away from you.
Like,
oh yes, but you're black though.
Oh my gosh,
like,
when she
you're
said
black,
that,
so, like, you
I
said
resonated
good.
so
Like,
much.
that's just the way you are. Like, that's just, it's genetic.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, no, I work hard for this in the gym. I go to the gym.
So
and
don't dismiss the hard work that I put in and reduce it to genetics.
Like, am I allowed to just give, like, personal anecdotes?
Please do.
Like, I know I'm black, but, like, that does not mean automatically I'm born with all these endowments. Leave me alone. In secondary school, you people are not nice. Oh yeah, but you're black though, so, like, why not, like, don't be rude, or, like, or even they'll go and point to one white girl, even she got more this, that, and the third than you. Why are you being rude? Why are you being rude to me?
And it's like,
being black is not the criteria for having nyash and all those things.
Who's gonna tell them?
So unkind.
But the thing is, it's because of the way that black people were portrayed to the people. You have now a general idea of what you think I'm supposed to look like. You have a general idea of what you think I'm supposed to act like, and that is what creates the black woman, not the black womanhood. Womanhood is different now. That's what creates the black idea of what a woman is. But where I was going with that is, no, that's okay.
Like this.
That's okay. I just wanted to, like, obviously I wanted to see what you had to say before I told you what my view was, and okay, that's gonna come later. What I want to say is we're African, right?
Yes.
And we proudly African, and we, to us, culture and tradition is so important. Yeah. So what I do want to say is, there's a lot that's coming into what I'm saying, so I'm gonna try and formulate it correctly. There's nothing wrong with being a traditional woman. Yeah. Yeah?
Is that where we're going?
I think that's all.
Oh my god.
I think that's all I want to say. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be a housewife. In this day and age, you can absolutely say.
And you finish.
Thank you. In this day and age, I feel like, in this day and age, I feel like there's so much pressure on women having to be independent. There's so much pressure on women having to, like, just like stand up for themselves, chase the bag, you know, do everything independently.
I don't want to be girl boss. How about that?
And it's just like, go you.
And can I just say, I don't
have to
pause it, because I was listening to another podcast, but I'm not here to promote them, even though I love them so much.
RJ.
But they was on live, and someone was talking, and like a boy called him, and he was like, he's seeing this girl, and he was like, he's not sure about his like willingness to commit, basically. And they were saying, what's the pros, what's the cons? And then one of the cons that he said, he was like, oh yeah, like he feels like she don't really have ambition, like she always says that if she could, that she would just become a housewife. Yeah. And what's wrong with that? Who would not pick ease and comfort over stress and wahala? And the thing I don't understand. That doesn't mean that she's not ambitious.
If you want to go
just because of what we're saying,
you know, other things, do that. But what I'm saying is, don't now create this environment where it's now a problem or is negative or is bad
to want to be a traditional woman. Can I say that I am still a feminist? Yes.
I was gonna move on to that point. Can I quickly ask the question so that you can say what you're gonna say? Okay. Because what I'm gonna say is, whenever women are brought into the like equation, feminism comes up. Yeah. And what I wanted to say was, first of all, do we have to always bring up feminism when it comes to womanhood? And secondly, does feminism contradict the idea of being a traditional woman?
Yeah, cool. That's what I was.
I wanted to ask the question so it can be.
Remind me of the first question though. So
is it necessary to
bring up feminism?
When we are talking about women?
I think, unfortunately, the reason why it's always gonna speak English.
It's always gonna.
The reason why it's always going to come up is because when we speak about womanhood, if you speak about it in its entirety, you're always gonna speak about the like struggle and strife and that women have endured, and so the counter to that is feminism. Yeah. So, and trying to overcome that is addressing feminism. Yeah. And you can be having like feminist discourse without even like, you might not consider yourself a feminist. Yeah. But like the conversation that we're having here, arguably, that we're all talking about intersectionality and all of that, is feminist discourse. So it's like, it's kind of hard to separate the two,
like feminism from the idea.
And that's not a bad thing.
It doesn't have to be negative.
Yes. Okay. Second question, which is what I was gonna. Don't eat the mic.
That's okay.
Second question, which is that I was gonna say, is that the two can coincide. Like I am a feminist. Yeah. I identify as a feminist. Yeah. Thank you. And I don't like. I'm not against the idea of traditional womanhood. I think.
Tell them again.
There are some women who are feminists who can't fathom it and who think like, why would you even say that if you're a feminist? And
I want to say something on that point.
And I'll let you. In a moment.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel like understanding the aims and goals of feminism, whilst there's different like types of feminism, I think to really understand what's going on here is to understand that what we're striving for is for women to be able to have the same like liberty and freedom and agency that men have.
I don't want to reduce the feminist discussion to one liner, but if I could be permitted to, the basis of feminism is to not fight but like campaign for
gender
equal
equality,
rights with men and women. Simple as that.
In the same way obviously there are constructs that kind of reduce our capacity to understand or like consider what it looks like to be a man.
Yeah.
But in the same way men get to choose the life that they want to live, me too, as a woman, all I desire is I can fight on the, obviously me, that's not what I do, but I can like protest and campaign and all I want about women being allowed to have, like, to break the glass ceiling, for example.
Yeah.
That does not, that doesn't affect my personal, like what I choose to do in my personal life.
Personal endeavors, yes.
Like, ultimately, like, I'm with you lot, like,
genuinely,
side by side, fighting
no one should come and take this
women
out of
to be able to, like, reach certain heights, essentially. That's what I was thinking, and I'm really proud that you said that sentence.
Feminism is not for black women. Okay,
you can't say that.
Not white feminism, but like, don't let them take the concepts of feminism.
I feel like the correct term is a womanist, though.
Oh, why?
Because women, like, womanism is more inclusive.
How?
Like, it actually includes
women,
other groups
yes.
of women.
I understand that.
Feminism, whether we like it or not, has been dominated by white women.
That's true.
And also, not only that, but like, that's also subscribes to the idea that all women have to be feminine simply by the word. Do you get?
But not necessarily.
I'm not even a politics student.
It's not necessarily inherently a political discussion.
Concept, yeah.
Fairs.
But I feel like obviously you're like, by virtue of the connotations,
yeah.
and like the root word, like when you say feminism, the root word is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, but I also feel like I feel like black women can be included in the discussion, because I feel like feminism is an ever evolving, like, thingy. Because like, if I'm being on it, maybe I'm just old school or something and I've not caught up with the times.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like womanism is like, it's like a...
Do you think womanism
I don't fully understand, like, I haven't been fully educated on womanism, first of all. Maybe I would identify as a womanist.
Yeah, I think
probably even myself. But I just feel like it's almost like an evolution from feminism anyway. So like, I feel like...
That's what I was going to say. Do you think womanism comes out of feminism or comes as a response to feminism?
I don't know all too much if womanism and black feminism are interchangeable.
Yeah.
But from my understanding of womanism, I think the two are interchangeable. So what you guys are saying would
Could you shout, please?
That is, what you guys are saying would make sense.
Thank
you.
That it's derived from feminism.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like because of literally everything you guys have been talking about in this episode, like, there needs to be more focus on, like, we can't just like try to fit ourselves
absolutely. I agree.
Womanism is for us, and I feel like we should take that. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I understand what you're saying, and the reason why I said that I feel like black women can still be feminists or black women can still be like involved in feminism is because I fully like recognize and appreciate the fact that there are different types of feminism. Yeah. I will never identify as a liberal feminist.
Yeah.
I will never identify as, what's the one that came before liberal feminism? That one, Sha. Like, that's not me, because I know that is essentially synonymous with white feminism. I'm not a white woman. It's not really.
And it's just like,
so it's like,
black feminism the same as intersectional?
Black feminism and intersectional feminism are like, they kind of go hand in hand. They'll be spoken about like together. And so I am an intersectional feminist. At the moment, not just a plain feminist. So it's like, yeah, I'm not a feminist. Like, when I say and I feel like as well, I feel like that's why there's a lot of taboo and like, if you say that you're a feminist, because of like how I think people often, when they think about feminism, they think about radical feminism.
Thank you for saying that. That's the point I was going to land on. But this came out of me saying I am a feminist. Yeah. So I'm going to rephrase that and say that I agree with the fundamental point of feminism, which is that women and men should be equal. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that does not contradict or go against the idea that traditional women can exist.
Because I'm like, if I put my laundry on the something now, you guys might drag me. But like, if I want to do the cooking and the cleaning,
I'm going to do it.
I'm married, I'm going to do it. Like, to be quite frank,
holistically and solely, I don't even need to go outside and work.
No one even needs to front.
And that's not to say that everyone should do it. I'm not saying that all of you should do it. Don't do it if you don't want to do it.
Which is so interesting.
To me, the liberty and is in having the choice.
Having the choice, thank you. And it's interesting.
I'm not doing it because I'm oppressed. doing it because I want to.
Yeah.
That's how I show love.
But do you know what people are gonna come and say to you?
What
They're gonna say that what's it called?
Yeah.
Socialism.
Huh?
Socialization.
Socialism.
Leave me alone. I'm trying my best. People are gonna tell you
yeah.
socialization has taught you that this is what you want to do.
What's that thing?
And that's what
False
irritates
consciousness.
me. False consciousness. All that. False consciousness. What else is that on that? That's what frustrates me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
When it comes to people being traditional women, we say, that's what I want to do, but you can do what you want. But the other side of the coin, no, we need to be free, we need to go and work, we need to do this, equal rights, 50-50, but you're not allowed to be a traditional woman. You have to be that as well.
It's counterintuitive. It's very counterintuitive.
The point is that we get the choice to do what we want to do.
Yeah, and that's not what we're fighting for.
Like, just let us
we're
do
not
what we
fighting
want,
for us to be like dragged to another end of the spectrum and then like equally oppressed on that side of the spectrum. That's not what we're doing here.
And that's why I don't agree with feminism.
Yeah, I understand.
It goes back to what you said in the beginning, you're women of the West.
I
You're not women of the West.
So, and the reason why, like, I appreciate what you're saying, and the reason why I will just like be like, is because I feel like that's because our perception of feminism is so obscured by what we see in the media. I feel like, for me personally, like, I choose to define feminism for myself. Obviously, I'm not going to create my new like definition of feminism and give to everybody and say this is what it is. But as in, to be a feminist, decide what that means to you, like kind of thing almost, because it's so helter-skelter anyway. We already know there's not one universal definition of what it means to be a feminist. There's not one type of feminism. So like, make that make sense to you. So. And like you said, there's a fundamental and core belief here, which is gender equality. And I feel like that's all. Just take that and do with that what you will, essentially.
Wow. Thank you. She gave you a round of applause.
Thank you, mommy.
I wanted to say something. I've actually been dying to say it, but I forgot I wanted to say it. And now I remember what I wanted to say. And what it is that I think the issue that a lot of people, especially men, have with the concept of feminism is the fact that a lot of feminist ideas are suppressed until they are radical. It's only the radical ideas. Thank you. It's only the radical ideas that break the barrier and become prominent in conversation. And now everyone thinks, oh yeah, feminism is this radical idea that no, you just weren't listening until someone had to go crazy.
That's good.
Until someone has to go crazy and break the
even
barrier.
people who are like pro-black.
It's
the conversation kind of gets suppressed. Like some of us just have ordinary and standard views.
Black
until someone says
black
we don't hear anything. We don't hear what.
I hold you.
And can I just say, don't cancel me. Dr. Umar eats sometimes.
Do you want me to post on TikTok?
Please do.
Say again.
Dr. Umar, like, he eats sometimes. He doesn't have 100% awful takes. He doesn't. He said, I'm not gonna lie to you. 8 out of the 10 times, obviously this is the statistic that I just created right now, but 8 out of the 10 times I've seen his takes, he ate that.
He's eating.
I said what I said.
Guys are gonna hate. She said, take me, drag me. Dr. Umar in the comments, guys.
You don't have the amount of degrees that he has. Not just talking out of his ass.
That's true. That's the thing. That's why when Dr. Umar, because I've watched a couple of things because of you, you inspired me. I'll be real. When Dr. Umar,
I'm not his best friend, though.
Good, yeah. That obviously, like with moderation. Thank you. When Dr. Umar comes on different podcasts, he goes on different podcasts, and he talks to people who are ignorant, gonna eat you up. Why? Because you're taking the what's the word, popularized media view, and you're going to go and spit that in his face. But he has education.
I'm sure there is a doctor in front of his name. I don't know, maybe. Oh wait, there is. Am I stupid?
I genuinely thought you did that on purpose, but you were not being sarcastic.
Doctor was his first name. I'm so sorry. But he is a doctor, like, for a reason. That's a well-read somebody. I'm not saying that everybody that went to school speaks sense. Some people, they went to school, they do like they didn't go to school. And I'm not saying that everything that school teaches us is necessarily, but it exposes us to knowledge. And I think go and research.
The crux of what we're saying is people don't really, some people do, but people don't just say things out of their arse. Like, it comes from somewhere, some education, some reading. And before you like respond to anything that we have to say, go and read. Go and just make sure that you genuinely disagree with us. That you actually understand what we're saying. To disagree with me. It's okay. You don't have to agree. That's fine. You know, everybody, freedom of choice, liberty, and all that. Next.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm so sorry. We cannot have a conversation about womanhood. Oh no. This is a really Western claim.
Okay. Preface and caution. Abby, what's the disclaimer?
This is a really Western claim. we cannot have a conversation
Yes.
about womanhood without bringing up Simone de Beauvoir.
Okay.
How do you say her
that,
name?
like, you could have just, we can.
Like, we can.
Like,
that was just
Yeah.
Western education
Simone
for
de
me. Sorry, I
Beauvoir.
study philosophy and they only teach me white people.
How do you say it?
I don't know. I don't want to butcher somebody's language on the internet.
French.
Simone de B.
Oh my gosh.
Is that worse?
SDB.
That sounds like STD. I don't want to do that to her.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Simone de Beauvoir.
Destigmatize
De Beauvoir.
STD and STI. Like, well.
Oh, you kinda,
Get me off.
no, but you kind of ate me up with that one.
Thank you.
We should.
Please
Sorry.
just like.
I'm gonna
Just say what she said.
Simone de Beauvoir.
Yes.
Guys, I'm so sorry about the pronunciation of her name, but like, I'm trying my best, and
And
you're gonna see
you're
the subtitles.
over trying, and that's what's making it work.
Simone de Beauvoir.
Thank you.
I'm over trying. She argues that one is born. Sorry,
Yeah, I was gonna say she doesn't.
I need to delete that clip and like do it again because like it's not gonna eat the same. She argues that one is not born, but rather becomes a woman.
Yeah. You can misinterpret that.
Ooh, go on.
Wait, what do you think she means?
Don't know now. I think what she means is that gender is a social construct, and because of socialization, we believe, like, we begin to believe the general ideas of what a woman is, and that's what leads us. I don't agree with everything that she says. I'm not gonna lie to you. I agree with the general concepts. I think she tried her hardest, but I don't think she's the best in the world. She says that's wow.
Do you become tired?
So tired.
That's fine. It's okay. It happens to everybody.
Do you want to like speak?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think she's basically saying that like one is not born but becomes a woman. So it's like I think she's arguing against the idea of like biological determinism and all that stuff.
Wow, yeah.
That like your sex determines your
gender role. Actually,
yeah, you're basically.
She argues against gender roles as well.
And so she's basically saying that like womanhood is not, because it's like socially constructed, it's not a natural inherent thing that like you're born with. Yeah, like it's something that becomes projected onto you. It's not something necessary that you
it's
construct
like a
for
nature
yourself.
versus nurture argument, basically.
Yeah. So it's something that like it's socialization, basically. I think it's what she's saying.
Make me feel like I don't know why I started there because I was not gonna be able to hit the note down there. So you get the gist of where I was going. So that song, like, for like a natural woman, Simone de Beauvoir, she'll just be like, no, there is not such thing. You as just a natural woman. Become one. You're not born a woman, and that's just like, yeah, they can definitely take her idea and like run with that. Yeah, actually. Yeah. What are there any misconstruements of that?
I just because off reading it, like, just like hearing it again, it was like one is not born but becomes a woman. Like, you could so quickly assume that she's saying like you become a woman and that like you grow into that feminine idea and you grow into
it's just
like the stereotype for
a
yourself,
woman becoming a woman.
Yeah, like you're becoming a woman. Like you go from a baby girl to a woman.
So they should try not to do that.
Yeah, but that's what she's saying.
That's like the complete opposite.
Yeah, actually.
Cool. I want to go into is gender really a social construct, but I feel like that's a whole podcast episode in all of itself. Yeah. So I'm not gonna do that. Wow. What I am gonna do, did you see the what I am gonna do is we're 20. You're 20.
You're 20.
You're 20. And
oh my gosh, I'm 20.
You know, like I just did it the other day, and I was like, rotted.
I think I'm so
20.
young. I think I'm
still a child. I'll be real. Hi, mommy. Hello.
That's so cute.
And she's gonna see this, and she's gonna wave at me back.
That's so nice.
Hello, daddy as well.
Hi, auntie and uncle.
Hey, parents. Hey, y'all.
Okay.
I was right. Are we women? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we women?
I think.
What is to be a woman?
What is it to be a woman?
Like in terms of age, because I feel like you're not gonna call an 11-year-old a woman. Yeah. But this might get really dark. Ooh. And like genuinely with all sense of like, what's the word? Like, what's the word?
Well, like sensitivity.
Yeah, with all sense of sensitivity. It's bad. I don't know that word again. With all sense of sensitivity, what I was gonna argue is that you couldn't call like an 11-year-old a woman, but it's like, what of an 11-year-old who has been first of all adultified and second of all gone through serious abuse, both physically, sexually, all types of abuse. Is that 11-year-old a woman, or are they still just a girl?
She's still a baby girl.
Okay.
We can't allow, and I feel like to go back, because I think that's where the conversation about black women and how we're dewomanized, I feel like that's where I could have ended up going, but I just had to shut my mouth. But we thank God we got there anyway. But it's like,
go on.
It's like, it's so dangerous to allow the experiences that have been forced onto someone, experiences that they didn't even choose, like that, to take away the innocence of like a young girl, a young black girl at that, to just go back to the initial idea of black women being dewomanized, and how like the innocence of black women is so quickly taken away from them, not out of their own doing, but even just like the way that people sexualize, for example, black women or black girls from so early on, and then they become adultified. It's like, why are you worrying about the shape of a young black girl in year 7 and why she doesn't look the way you think that black women should look? She is 11 years old. Get it together. So I personally feel like what you were saying is that she's absolutely still a girl, regardless of what she's been through. Because taking away her innocence in that sense is so dangerous and it's so scary. And then I feel like that's what even enables like the further, like,
I understand, but I think for me what it is like, I feel like the title of a woman is an honor. So for me, it's like, if she went through all of those experiences which women go through, not saying that women go through abuse and they have to go through abuse to be a woman, but it's like, to be a woman, you have to be like, you have to have a sense of experience and maturity that has to. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because the only dangerous thing about what you're saying is that
you call me dangerous.
You're not dangerous.
Like, I'm not saying that this is what I'm. I'm bringing the conversation to the table.
Like looking at the other side of the coin. But the only thing with that is that it's like the same way we spoke about how American people gatekeep the idea of being black because in the UK we didn't see slavery. It's like. It's even like gatekeeping the idea, but we did. It's like gatekeeping the idea of being a woman because you don't know stress, you don't know like abuse, you don't know like, you don't need to know all of that before you become a woman.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, cool.
So having been through all of that early on doesn't now make you a woman.
Make you a woman.
You're still a baby girl.
Oh, so when do you become a woman? Like,
I don't know.
What components?
When do you become an adult? Like,
do you have to?
When you're 18?
Like, is there a law that says, oh, now she's a woman?
I don't know.
Do you become a woman when you're an adult?
I just feel like, once you become an adult, like,
then you're a woman.
Yeah.
I think I would like to believe that there's just so much more.
It's just so here and there
that contributes to the idea of woman. Because for me, because I asked what's the difference between a woman and I go, bro, there's one conversation I'm gonna get in so desperately, but we're not even there yet, and it's really upsetting me. And like, I've anyway, I need to take my time. Because like when I think of like a woman, I think of like an old, like well-read, educated lady, like black lady, by the way. I don't know why, but okay, hi. Shout please.
Green.
I don't want to shout.
You said I don't want to shout.
I don't want to shout. It's so awkward. For a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people say a girl becomes a woman when she starts puberty. Yeah.
And menstruates
and she starts to begin her period. Yeah. But I feel like that's very like... It's very outdated.
Very antiquated. And
it's outdated and it's just like... A girl could start her period at 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Is she now a woman? And people would argue... Like she is. I've had discussions with people where it's like they would argue that that she's a woman.
She's a woman.
Whether she likes it or not, to the eyes of other people, she's a woman.
And the lack of choice there.
But do you know why that's problematic?
Why?
Because
I think it's problematic.
Because I know you would think it's problematic because like the idea of like menstruation and all of that is like it's your fertility is now in operation. So it's like, I feel like, again, it's actually like what we said last time, is attributing womanhood to the capacity to be able to bear a child. So she's 8, but she's still a baby girl. Yeah. She's not a woman. Exactly. And like, if you never, because
do you think that's why black women, black girls are adultified?
I'll get there quickly, sorry. Does that mean that now when you turn 25 and you've never had a period in your life, you're not a woman? Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. It's a stupid...
Many women would argue that, they feel less like a woman, or, women who are unfortunately barren.
Yeah.
Like, why would you be upset that you can't conceive a child as a woman?
Yeah.
Because they make it such a large part of identity. Or like,
to be a woman,
you have to be a mother to be a woman, and it's just like.
So what are you gonna say about black women being adultified?
I was just gonna wonder, like, do you think that's why black women not black women, black girls.
Yeah.
The distinction is very
And
crazy.
look at me.
Do you think that's why black girls are adultified? Because I don't know why, but
you feel like a lot of us start our period early?
Yeah, and we just hit puberty faster.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I was gonna say if the puberty, the period thing was gonna be the only point.
No, just not just the period.
Yeah,
I think just puberty in general. Like I think we just start earlier.
I think it's a contributing factor. And I also think the rest of the world is problematic. So like that's why as well.
We're okay. The rest of the world is problematic.
Please don't drag me. I'm sorry, but also problematic.
I won't paint the picture out to you like that. Don't worry. I'm there to I got you. Anyway. Nah, I don't want to talk about that no more.
What is the difference between being a woman and a girl? I don't know. Man.
I don't know. I don't care.
And it's so sad.
I think the point you just made, Ethan, is so unfair.
What?
It gives to people who sexualize black girls
what
a reason, like a pass, like it's just because they go through puberty earlier, so that's why I can sexualize her. If she goes through puberty earlier, then
no, she's not saying that. You're saying that. She's like just touching on your point.
That can be used.
Oh, because I was gonna say like, how did we get there? No, because
I just disagreed with it.
Because you know that whole thing
that we hit puberty earlier.
We do.
So
but that can't be the reason why we are adultified.
I'm not saying that's the whole reason. I'm saying that's part of the reason.
Fair enough, but I still don't feel like it is at all.
You don't think? Okay.
I think it's culture. Like I think it's deeply entrenched
in black
specifically
culture,
African culture. They look at the age of consent in Nigeria. If the age of consent in Nigeria is 11 years old, if I come to the UK and you're 11 years old, if what I could do back home I can do here.
Do you know what my issue is with that?
What is it?
My issue is that y'all gonna drag me.
No, let's see.
What I think it is I think just because part of it is because we're in the West and we're educated in the West, and the West seems to be the more liberal, educated, forward thinking. It's like, does that mean that everything that people do in the non-Western areas is wrong? Like, it's just like they call it child marriage, but till you.
Okay, what you're saying is really good, but in this instance, it's very scary.
How?
Because when applied to concepts like child marriage or like the age of consent, it's like 11 is not good enough.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying that I don't agree with that.
I know you agree.
But what I'm saying is that can we like think outside of the box here? And like, can we consider that possibly the reason why we should be in the box? But do you not think that is because of Western ideas? You think that the West is right. That's why you're so confident. That's like, I'm not saying that.
Wouldn't a psychologist in non-Western spaces and a psychologist in the West be able to like come to the conclusion that 11 is not, like, the brain is not ready?
I think she agrees with that.
It doesn't have the capacity to consent to something
do you know what my argument is? My argument is really childish in such a big and important conversation. My argument is, why is the West right and not everyone else?
No, but that's a good argument though. I think in this context it's awful.
It's terrible.
No, it's not.
But like, is it the West that's making us think that it's bad?
It's in this context. It's just because of the context. Is that we're immediately like shutting that argument down. Yeah, and rightfully
because
so.
of what
but like other contexts,
sentences like that now.
No, but because when she's speaking about the age of consent, 11 will never be okay.
It's not a great enough capacity to
till you.
Eden, no.
In any
but
instance,
I'm like till you until me. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I know you're playing devil's advocate, but it's just like.
But like, that's how the devil advocates. He advocates far.
Because I just think. Nah.
Okay.
To touch on what you said, actually, what I wanted to say was that I think you're right about how they adultify us, like, within our culture. Like, even that whole, like, firstborn daughter syndrome, and it's like, you're carrying a load of a mummy at your tender and gentle age. It's like you're being adultified. However, I will not.
It's coming to fruition.
Yeah, I wouldn't attribute adultification strictly to us, though. I think it's and I know that's not what you're saying. But it's like we're not guilty of it. In our solidarity. Yeah, like they do it to us too. Because like obviously in the other sense of what you were saying about puberty, and it's like how people look at young black girls to be more specific, and it's like you're sexualizing her, whatever, at her small. Why are you doing that?
Sorry, there's a conversation that I want to have that's just itching the back of my brain, and I've just stopped listening to you, and it's really bad.
And so it's like Yeah, basically. It's not just us, basically, that are guilty of projecting, like, adult
values.
Stuff, yeah, until young children.
Okay.
Basically.
I agree with that. That was a really, like, it became so heated.
Innit?
And then it just cooled down, and I really liked that. I hope, like,
I liked it.
Subtitle you. Hopefully shouted loud enough. I feel like you did this.
I will even sit next to you and do the subtitle together.
Thank you, because I do need you to do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you ready for this one?
I think I'm ready. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
It's not even on the screen.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I won't look at it anymore then.
So excited. Okay, where should I start with this one? Okay, I do genuinely, like, I want to talk about women's sexuality, for real. And the hypersexualization of women. What are women hypersexualized? Let me start there.
Are women hypersexualized?
Or are they just sexualized like everyone else?
I think relative to men they are, yeah. Oh, sorry. Relative to men, women are hypersexualized.
Okay.
In that, like, you know how they speak about the different currencies that, like, as genders we operate inside of, shall I say? Like, men, you care more so about a man's pocket. You care more so about, like, that's how you, like, that's a metric that we measure the value of a man by. Whereas with a woman, it's like your body, your face, So I think simply by how we value men and women, we can see that women are hypersexualized.
Oh.
Relatively, anyway.
Yeah, that was a word. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about because I just wanted to say what quantifies the word hyper, like what's, like, is everyone not sexualized to some degree, but you put in an argument saying that it's relative to the other
is what makes it hyper,
sex or gender.
Yeah, so then, like, even when they say black women are hypersexualized, it's in relation to other women, and so it's like,
it's good.
That's what makes it hyper. It's excessive. It's above the norm.
And I do want to say, I think it's intrinsic within a lot of institutions
to
the hypersexualization of women.
Yeah,
is intrinsic within institutions, and it's as small as, like, it's really, really small, and you won't get it unless you get it. And I've been dying to talk about this, so I'm talking about it now.
Please do.
Institutions such as the workplace has become more lenient now.
You're so good.
And also schools. Smart words might hit home.
I knew it was going to.
This rule that is implemented in multiple schools across the world, that
let's just say in the UK,
across the world.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry, because I
There's
don't even
documentaries
know.
Across the world.
Yeah.
That girls have to have a specific length of skirt.
Insane.
Is the manifestation of the hypersexualization of young girls.
Absolutely.
If you start that idea, you start that idea from young, people are gonna grow up thinking, oh yeah, what really matters is the length of a girl's skirt.
And, like, now that you've said it, there's just so much that's flowing through my brain, and I'm very upset now.
Oh, please unpack.
Because, like, going to school,
your skirt is too short.
And hearing that teachers have said ridiculous things as
oh
it
my
pertains
gosh,
to the length of your skirt.
I need to drag that teacher.
Please explain the scenario.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Please
the one that I
explain
told you.
Please explain the scenario.
I'm so sorry. You're gonna want to listen to this. The one when we were getting changed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we were getting changed for enrichment because we were in sixth form at this point. We were getting changed for enrichment, and we were, like, wearing PE clothing, and our school is heavily dominated by black girls. Whilst not all black girls are curvy, a lot of us are. The girls got ready to play netball. You want to be streamlined. You want to be fast. You want to be quick. They wore their.
You want to be streamlined.
You want to be streamlined.
You want to be quick. That was so
So
good.
they wore their shorts and they wore their top, which was a normal set. And it's like they didn't go and find this from the deep dark depths of. It was in Sports Direct. Yeah, it was in JD because this is sportswear. This is activewear. And the teacher walked in. This was a male teacher, by the way. He was not only a very prominent teacher in the PE department, but I
didn't know this was what you were going to say, but please say it.
Wow.
Was I there?
Oh, don't you worry.
Please say it.
But he was.
I'm so scared.
He was the head.
Shaking in my boots
and what
right
he
now.
said
I'm shaking.
was,
I'm scared.
Are you guys getting ready for PE, or are you getting ready to, like, be in
I'm scared.
What? Are you guys? Are you? Like, she silenced me so shockingly.
I'm so scared. I don't think I'm ready to hear
it. Can I say this?
Sorry, say it.
Are you guys wearing sportswear or are you wearing lingerie? I said, oh. Mr.
You can't do
I'm
that.
gonna bleep it.
I can't believe that.
That was wild. When I heard it, and do you know what it is? That went over everyone's head.
I was not there.
And
I
the
couldn't
thing
have
is,
been.
the ladies, it was
Because trust and believe, I would have been ready to write a very wordy email.
Do you know what the thing is? All the girls said was ha ha ha.
That's
because
awful.
it's normal to make jokes like that.
That's awful.
About little girls.
We were in sixth form.
Little girls.
We're still little girls. We're still little girls. That's nasty. That is like, genuinely disgusting.
Like those
I'm not gonna lie to
you can't, and that's what I'm saying.
If
about
you are
how
in compulsory education, you are a little girl.
That's what I'm saying. The innocence of young black girls gets steeped
and all
so quickly. That's crazy.
Was, ha, ha, ha.
You can't say that because the truth is that we're actually children. You have a duty of care to me.
Are you wearing sportswear
or
lingerie?
Have a duty of care as well, like as a teacher. And then you're saying that it's like, why have you? Your brain shouldn't be able to attribute the two.
Thank you.
Me and lingerie. Get out of the gutter.
And the reason why
your mind out of the gutter.
Genuinely, that is such a wild statement and a wild claim. And the only reason why you feel so comfortable to get there, it starts from the length of a girl's skirt. The length of our skirt has been policed since the moment we entered into.
Because speaking of the length
education,
of skirt, what I was gonna say in the same problematic school. Part of me is about how a teacher, one of the teachers, she said, we weren't there at the time. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Sorry, there's too many things.
She was speaking about, it's so foggy in my brain. Do you know, like verbatim what was said? Not verbatim, but
she said, she was basically saying how she was talking about the fact that like girls were getting kidnapped. Girls were getting kidnapped and girls were getting abducted and stolen away by men, and they were being abused and all that. I don't know the way I said that. I'm gonna rephrase that. They were talking about how like young girls were being taken and
like very serious stuff.
It was a really serious conversation, and she said, and like the way that you guys wear your skirts, why wouldn't you be kidnapped?
Is that not very scary? And so what that takes me to is that there's this exhibition, I think somewhere in one of those Scandinavian countries. Someone did exhibition.
Why is she laughing? You can't laugh. Why did
I don't know what country it was.
You reduced the country to nothing but
one of the Scandinavian countries. So a woman did an exhibition. It might not even be one of the Scandinavian countries because now you guys might know what I'm talking about, and then guys tell me it was in America. I don't know. But she did an exhibition, trigger warning, and it was about like the clothes that women were wearing when they were sexually abused. And it was like pajamas. Wow. Like not even like silky booty short pajamas, like to the ankle pajamas. That was
like real PJ. And it's like
that was a baby. That was like a baby's onesie.
Exactly, there was a baby's onesie. Unfortunately, trigger warning. Even though it's too late now, but it's like. By telling me policing the length of my skirt is so problematic because what you're doing is reinforcing an idea that women are asking for it, basically. That the length of your skirt warrants you being like abused or whatever, and it's like that's so because that's not on me. What you're attributing the blame or the fault to the women because of what? Because of the length of their skirt. That's not me asking for anything.
I'm saying this inherent rule that is what's the like. Multiplied across all institutions, especially school, like it's scary. And I've tried to bring it up before, and people are just like, no, but like they shouldn't. Don't get me wrong.
We're not saying that your skirt should hang.
And the thing is, if you want your skirt to hang, your skirt can hang. At the age of 18, you're still under your parents' instruction, whether you like it or not. I'm 20, I'm still under my parents' instruction.
That's right.
But I personally believe that the length of somebody's skirt should be facilitated. It should be policed and organized, orchestrated, if you like, by the parents.
So good.
By the willing carer of that child. The institution has no right to monitor the length of a girl's skirt, because now, by virtue of that, you are implicitly, and the thing is, it's so implicit, no one has deeped it.
And as young girls, 13, 14, whatever, in school, growing up, what do you know about the fact that
and that's what
how
I'm saying.
problematic
it wasn't
this
until
is
sixth form that I did
that we did. Why are you watching the length of my skirt?
Why are you watching the length of my skirt?
Why are you watching
what does that mean?
so intently?
You guys should talk about Halloween costumes.
I don't know like where you want to go with that. Please.
Women's Halloween costumes, sexiness,
and
like school student,
like even
sexualized,
it's like
the
sexualized school
with
girl,
the tucked in,
the skirt that come up like here. And the cropped white shirt and then the hanging tie.
And it's so scary.
You know Velma.
Yeah.
Do you know what they've done with Velma?
Yeah, scary.
Terrible thing.
It's so scary to like attribute all this sexuality to young girls in school.
Yeah.
Schoolgirl costume, sexy schoolgirl.
It's very
sexy and schoolgirl should not be in the same.
sentence. It's very, very frightening. And it's just like a male teacher is going to approach you in the corridor and say your skirt is too...
Do you know how uncomfortable and dehumanizing that is? Oh my gosh.
Too much pornography.
Oh my gosh. Two things. First of all, that is so dehumanizing. A man, a grown man should come to me and be like, your skirt is too short. I'm scared.
My skirt is too short for what?
For what?
For your mind.
Wait.
To comprehend.
I'm scared.
And remain intact.
And the thing is,
respect
some of these male teachers, how would you feel if you had a daughter and a grown man with stubble, him have beard,
came to your daughter, her skirt is too short?
Do you not begin to envision one grimy?
Finish that sentence. What does that mean?
Yeah, no, yeah. What does
my
that mean?
My skirt is too short. Why is it too short? Because what?
Thank you.
It's affecting your capacity to comport your mind and get your head out of the gutter. I didn't ask you to sexualize.
Because the thing is, I've thought about this very, very well, and it's like, let me look at opposing arguments now. There must in schools there are rules. Mm-hmm. For example, everyone must be in school at 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. If some people decide to come in at 9:30, that becomes a problem. Why? Because it disrupts the organization of the day. That is a genuine rule. That is good. Mm-hmm. In schools, some people say you have to line up. Some people can argue that this is reminiscent of a prison, but for me, it's like, okay, let's line up. Discipline. Why? So that we can take a register and make sure everybody is here. Mm-hmm. For example, now, the length of a girl's skirt. What are the reasons for policing the length of a girl's skirt? I begin to think.
I understand.
And the only thing that I can think of is because, the girl now becomes too appealing, she is too sexy. Yeah. Is that not a problem for you?
We're getting distracted. I understand that to an extent there's a level of is that not an issue? Protection and all of that, but I think that is not something the root cause or the root the ideology behind that is what is the problem, because you're trying to protect you from what?
That's what I'm saying.
The length of my skirt doesn't warrant anything.
And by telling the young girls that they need to change in order to stop
things from happening, you're attributing blame to the wrong people. Educate the young boys about how they should keep their hands to themselves. Yeah. And how they should worry about what concerns them. Yeah. And how the length of a girl's skirt is equally not their problem. Which is so funny. And it doesn't warrant anything. And it's so much emphasis, so much onus goes onto the girls. Yeah. Educate the boys as well.
Because in schools, we've had these conversations. In schools, the teachers will watch as the boys do rubbish.
I'm not gonna lie, and I want to highlight that, and I'm so sorry to cut.
And the thing is, I wanted you to take over.
I feel like, and if teachers are watching this, which I don't even know, but I feel a lot of you teachers have failed so many students, and it should absolutely weigh heavy on your conscience. Wow. You have watched so many treacherous things happen in school, and we established the age of consent and that type of stuff. Girls are 11, 12, 13, 14 in I'm even talking secondary school. Primary school, crazy things can happen as well.
They probably have.
But in secondary school, girls are so young, they're not of age to consent. Yeah. Even if the girl is laughing and giggling when you see crazy things happening, she's just a baby girl. You have a duty to protect these kids. Oh, parents are not sending their kids to school so that teachers can watch and turn a blind eye to foolishness that's going on. It doesn't make sense. And then instead of educating children or nurturing them in a correct way, it's you villainize them, or you put blame on them, or you make them feel bad for things that have happened to them or whatever. Some of you teachers have failed awfully and woefully, and it's scary to see, because I've seen teachers you guys. When I think back to secondary schools, you watch that happen. You let it happen, but and you don't the length of my skirt. But then you're gonna go to the girls in the PE changing room and ask them if they're getting ready for lingerie or whatever it is.
There's one more thing that I wanted to say on this concept of the length of girl skirt in schools. In our school, if your skirt was too short, you'll be sent home. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the length of a girl's skirt is prioritized over her education. That's hilarious. That is a laughing thing, yeah?
And you know what it is?
That's a howler.
They were very aware of the phenomenon whereby you send them home to change their skirt or to wear trousers, and they don't come back. And you know that.
One girl, you know the girl?
Probably.
Okay. I bleep it.
Yeah.
Her skirt was too short, but she cared about her education. She said, I'm not going home. I live too far. She literally lived too far. So by the time she got home, by the time she come back, school's done. She said, I'm not going home. Do you know what they said? Okay, you can sit in the office then. She is in the institution of education, but she's not being educated because her skirt is too short. You're forgiven. That was so disgusting to me. I was on fire.
How does that affect the rest of her school
She's
day?
in school, but she's not getting education because her skirt is too short. You can go and sit in the office then. What?
Because of what?
Because her skirt is too short.
And I understand that school, they just wanted to show us that they can do police,
but it's like,
that
I'm sure that's not the only
prisoner.
school that
but it's just like, why are you being so stringent about the length of someone's skirt?
It has nothing to do with a school. It has nothing to do with a school.
Yeah, it's not about the school. I'm not saying it's about the school.
No. What I'm saying is, it has nothing. I agree. It has nothing to do with the school. It's so sickening and so nasty. Like, we can go on about this, but the episode is like, everything's tired, everything's done. But it's so nasty. Genuinely,
it's awful.
And this is the conversation that I really wanted to have.
Yeah, and I enjoy conversation like this. Yeah, not because it's a fun conversation to have, but because there's so much that some of you are so ignorant to.
Yeah, and it's like, it's so
this is
minute.
not okay.
And the reason why it's so minute is because it's become so normalized that you think it's okay. Think about the roots of where this is coming from.
Yeah.
Why do people think that way? Why do people believe this?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then come to school and project it onto like all these
young
little
children.
kids. And then
don't get me wrong.
By virtue of telling the girls that their skirt is too short and not saying it's anything to the boys, it's like boys feel like bruv, your skirt is too short.
That's the thing. That's what was so nasty. Other girls will come up to other girls and be like, oh, why is your skirt that short, bro? Do you know what you're saying right now?
What are you teaching the young men and women?
And then the other boys will be like, oh, her skirt is so short. But do you know what you're teaching the children right now?
And then that's why boys will come to school and be spewing unfortunate
events.
If I now start using language,
try not to.
I don't want to shit beef for anybody. But you lot will come to school and just start spewing nonsense and foolish ideology.
It's just a frustrating thing that's frustrating.
Rubbish nonsense sentences. You're forgiven.
Anyway, we can definitely talk about this forever in circles. But I'm gonna let you guys go. Like, I'm gonna free you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode.
And I hope it makes you think about yourself as well.
Yeah. Send it to someone. Who needs to hear it. I'm going to do a proper outro this time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Things You Can't Touch. Make sure you follow our guest on all platforms, please. And also, say happy birthday because it's our birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you. We'll see you in the next episode, guys. Don't be a stranger. Subscribe.
Don't be a stranger.
Do you know what I find that so interesting? A lot of the things that, like, for example, I said that somebody could write that in a paper and you're going to read it and cite it in your I think a lot of scholars, a lot of like writers in literature that we read like can seriously get cancelled, but they just write it and no one reads
people don't read. So, and the people are the most.
Do you know what I mean?
That the people who are chatting the most on socials are definitely like.
And they're dead. Some of them are dead.
Yeah, that's also true.
Sigmund Freud.
I know, but like people agree with what they say.
Yeah.
So should those people?
But those are different.
In these days. Well, I'm not saying that they go and cancel it. I'm saying that the views that we read in school are cancelable.
Yeah.
But just because I'm bringing it to the internet now,
it's
now
two different language
crazy.
games.
Yeah.
That's why.
Wittgenstein.
Yeah.
RJ.
I think
that was like a separate point. Agree for me. You think?
No, I was just gonna say I feel like scholarly articles and whatnot have always been
cancelable.
Yeah,
controversial.
Like, that's
the essence of like these scholarly articles are for you to read them and say you disagree with them.
Or agree with them.
I think like we just social medialized it.
Yeah.
And now we tweet it. People before would write entire books about how they disagree with it.
Yeah, that's so true.
And
I find that so interesting. I find that so cool. And to me, because like obviously because it evolved, for me it's like now one is lower, like one is not as honourable as the other. That's I think that's the issue for me. But for me, like we're doing the exact same thing, but one of them you're gonna say, wow, scholarly, you get a award, you get a degree.
The sophistication of it is different. Like when it is more casual, people are more likely to say dumb things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but even when you're writing, a lot of people say dumb things when they're writing.
It's true, but at least they can back it up with at least maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 sources.
That they took out of context, most likely.
Yeah, however, some people are just using their own brain power.
Are you like indirecting me right now?
No.
Are we talking about me?
Because you mentioned the broom thing, so obviously there's your source. There we go. Like I can't deny that.
Yeah.
That thing. However, some people will go into it and say, "This is wrong because I think so."
Wow.
The end. You know.
I think you're
it's
right.
Not really to the same level of sophistication.
You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's honorable.
That was a nice contribution.
Thank you for your contribution.
It's crazy.
On TTYCT, the things you can't touch, a philosophy podcast, a 21st century
modern day philosophy.
A modern, like, language is hard for me to speak English.
Language is hard for me to speak English.
A 21st day, no. A 21st century. Do you say 21st century and modern day?
Of you.
Philosophy podcast with it's a 21st century philosophy podcast with a modern day twist. That's what it is.
Thank you. And what's sad is that no one asked you to do that, and you messed it up like so many times, and I'm really upset with that.
I'm sorry.